Hello. Hi, Avery. Can we get an audio check, please? You hear me? Can you hear the game? Are we balanced? Very important. Let me know. Game seems a bit quiet. We can change that. Yoink. Is that better? Or I can make it louder too. Are we good to go? Think it's good? Alright. Let's go. Can't believe we're still only in the middle. That's crazy. Okay. Long Zi says, little cubs, never do they know the real fury of the elder wolves. These quotes are definitely becoming increasingly difficult to decipher. And what does that mean? It means that you'll never really know how angry I can get. His sunglasses look so dumb. How do they even work? Mr. Prosecutor, the counterfeit bills made with Babali's ink. They were all of Zhongfa denominations. Yes, so I heard from Miss Von Karma. But we don't know where the play money is gone. They must not have figured out that it was all burned yet. Eye patch sunglasses? That's what I'm saying. Ever since those things showed up in circulation, my country's economy has taken a big hit. Zhongfa is in financial chaos as we speak. Because we can't tell the difference between our own bills and the fakes. Not just the money. The citizens are also worried. I've staked the honor of the House of Lang on this. And I have come to this land to capture the mastermind behind the whole mess. I investigated how the bills were being made and how the ink was smuggled into Zhongfa. I pursued the smuggling ring all the way here. But tonight, this is where the final chapter was written. Despite my frantic efforts to chase the smuggler down, someone got to him first. Now I'm called to return home without a single answer. Agent Long, Don't start. It's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault, Mr. Prosecutor. Ambassador Alba, I'm sorry for all the trouble tonight. Oh, no. It is I who should apologize. It was all because I was not strong enough. If only I was able to think of a better solution. Corpus, you fool! Curse your empty brain! You're being too hard on yourself, Ambassador. I take full responsibility for tonight. End of story. Sheena, let's go. Time to return to our den. Yes. I don't like to admit it, but there's not much else for us to do but go home as well. Wait! Agent Long. You! Wolfman and the security lady! Hold it! Objection, pal! Detective Gumshoe, have you got the results of the handwriting analysis already? Yup, and that note was definitely written by Mr. Kojin, sir. Just as I thought. Good work, detective. Quest to steal the Primitic statue. Handwriting matches that of Manny Kojin. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, how long do you intend to hold us up for? Sorry to have made you wait, but I believe that now everyone is finally here. Agent Sheena, I'd like to ask you something if you don't mind. Yes? How exactly did you fail to see the Yatagarasu when you were in the neighboring room to where Mr. Kochin was killed? I'd like you to explain that to us. What? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, what are you doing asking her about something she didn't see? Lang hasn't touched the Babal investigation at all, so I suppose I will need to explain a few things to him first. Miles Edgeworth, I can't even begin to imagine what's going on in that head of yours. The only thing going on in my head is the pursuit of the truth. Oh? Sounds like you have some sort of plan. Very well. I'll supervise you until the end. She's seriously going to treat me as a subordinate for the rest of the day. You're not trying to pick a fight with my subordinate on some flimsy guess, are you? Not trying to pick a fight, and the evidence is hardly flimsy, as you will see. Ah, they're so cute! I should have known. that you and I are destined to fight it out until the very end. Appear that way. Well, I'll prove her innocence, so let's see what you got, Prosecutor Edgeworth. With pleasure. The silly duo. They're so cute. My opening argument, I'll discuss the Yatagarasu that appeared in Babal. Establish exactly who it was that Kay saw. Agent Lang. I assume you've been briefed on Kay's testimony. You mean the suspicious person in a coat that she saw? That's right. That person is one of the keys to solving this case. The person who pretended to be the Yatagarasu. Pretended? And what do you mean by that? I'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to review what Kay's mystery person did. Kay, if you could please explain for us what the person you were chasing did.
Okay, you got it. I first spotted the suspicious person near the open-air stage on the Babalese side. I called out to the person, but as soon as I did, that person ran off. I thought it was rather suspicious, so I immediately gave chase.
For the sake of argument, let's call the suspicious person the Yatagarasu. Now, please tell us what happened when you chased the Yatagarasu up to the 3rd floor.
Can do. I chased the Yatagarasu all the way up to the 3rd floor of the Babalese embassy. It was a pretty straight chase down the hallway until the sudden turn. The Yatagarasu disappeared around the corner, so I did my best to catch up. When I turned the corner, I saw the Yatagarasu run into Mr. Kochin's office. I gave chase and ran into the room. But when I entered the room, it was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. I felt something on the ground next to my foot, so I turned on the light, but then... Ah!
Who's there?
By the time I turned on the lights, the Yatagarasu had disappeared.
They entered the room. The person she was chasing was already gone. Why do you suppose that was, Agent Long? What do you mean, why do I suppose? Isn't it obvious? The person slipped through the door behind the girl under the cover of darkness. Sorry, but I know for a fact that the person didn't escape through that door. Oh? And how do you know that with such certainty? That's easy. If the Yatagarasu had left through that door, they would have run right into this person. Sheena!
Take that!
Your answer is Sheena. Yes, because let's consider what would have happened if the Yatagarasu had used the door. When Kay screamed upon discovering Mr. Kochin's body, Yatagarasu would have run right into Agent Sheena, who was in the next room over. Agent Sheena, would you mind telling us if you saw the suspicious person in question?
No, I didn't see anyone.
You see, therefore, it just means that the creep slipped out before Sheena made it into the hallway. I doubt that, as there was another person in the hallway, a certain detective. Detective Gumshoe, where were you exactly at that time?
Me, sir? Well, when I heard Kay scream. I ran towards Mr. Kochin's office from the opposite direction of Agent Sheena, sir.
So, Agent Long, can you explain how someone could have eluded both of them? Even you must concede that under these circumstances, the door was not a viable route.
No! Way to go, Mr. Edgeworth! You nailed him with just an explanation of what happened.
Yes, I've eliminated one of the possible escape routes from that room. This is far from over. I need to make Agent Lang aware as well. Yet another possible escape route the Yatagarasu could have taken. I get it. So that's what you were trying to show me. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, let me guess. This is what you're trying to say, right? Because the door was not a viable escape route, then there must have been another way out. Precisely.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, it's time to bust out with our revolving fireplace wall explanation, right?
No, not quite yet.
Huh? But why? I thought this would be the perfect time.
The revolving wall on the Babalese side is known only to 4 people. If we use this information unwisely, the truth may escape us in the end. What's with all the whispering over there? Scared I'll figure out your tactics? Nothing of the sort, Agent Lang. Come on, let's continue where we left off. smug, haughty attitude of yours. You really rub me the wrong way, you know that? Well, no matter. I figured you out already anyway. The only other possible escape route besides the door is the room's lone window. And since an eerie picture of said escape route exists, are you saying that this photo captures the moment of the Yatagarasu's escape? Yes, Detective Bad must have filled him in on this photo. I have to admit that at first, I thought the window to be a possible escape route as well. However, I now know that to be impossible. Now, I realize you may not know this, but humans can't fly. Of course I know that. That's bloody common sense.
Are you British, Edgeworth?
Besides, I never said that I thought the photo to be of the Yatagarasu's escape route. I suppose not. Alright then, explain yourself. The shadow in this photo is not the Yatagarasu that Kei was chasing after. You can say whatever you like in whatever language you want. But there's only one language I really understand. The language of evidence. Very well then. I present to you proof that the person Kei saw is not the same one as in this photo.
Fires in Baba?
Oh?
Huh? What? I'm confusion, huh? Is it just the photo? I can't save. Oh! Oh. First fire at the Bubbly's embassy occurred during the Jam and Ninja show. The fire occurred on the 4th and 5th floors, and it took until the end of the show to put the fire out. The second fire at the Bubbly's embassy occurred after the Jam and Ninja show. The fire occurred on the 3rd floor in Mr. Coach's office column. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's this.
Take that!
Please? Aha!
Let me explain to you precisely why the shadow in the photo is not the Yatagarasu Kei saw. He spotted the Yatagarasu heading for the 3rd floor during the second fire.
Good vibes. Hello, Mr. Grey Brown, and how are you doing?
However, the photo in question was taken just after the first fire.
Yeah, way to go! That's twice you bit him in the butt now!
Not done yet. You still have to explain what that shadow is.
Your knees burn? Why do your knees burn? That doesn't sound good.
And how the Yatagarasu escaped. I don't suppose you can answer both, can you? Regarding the photo, I admit that we don't understand what it means quite yet. As I thought. However, the Yatagarasu's escape route. Now that I can answer. You can. Well then, Mr. Prosecutor, go on. Enlighten me.
Work? Oh no. I hope you can get some rest. Give your knees a break.
Hold it!
You keep them good vibes though, don't mind me. That's okay. I hope, you can find some time to relax, whether that be in stream or off stream. Thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate it.
Even if I explain it, you'll try to find some flaw with what I have to say. We're busy heading up the Alabastian investigation, correct? In that case, I doubt you'd have much knowledge about the Babalee side of the case. So wouldn't it be best if the lead on that side, Agent Sheena, explained in my stead? Ugh! Sheena's my subordinate! If I don't stick up for her, how can I look her in the eyes and call myself her boss?
I can read. Really like your model's drip? Thank you! It took me a while to design it, but I'm really happy with how it turned out too. And Fumato did a really great job with the pixel.
Long, it's alright. Take care of him. Sheena, you've shielded me a lot as my boss. But it's time for me to prove my worth. Alright, if you're okay with it, then you have my support. Finally, it's down to just Agent Sheena and myself. This is where the battle really begins. Now then, what is it you'd like to ask? Let's see. Why don't we start with your movements inside the Babalee's embassy?
Sheena's movements.
During the first Bobbley's fire, I assisted in putting out that fire. During the second fire, I was searching for the Yatagarasu that had appeared in Babal. While I was searching, I heard a scream coming from the room next over. The next room over. Although I was in the next room, I was unable to catch a glimpse of the Yatagarasu. To be honest, I'm actually very skeptical that the girl's Yatagarasu even exists. And that is all I have to say.
But I'm not lying when I say I saw the suspicious person run into Mr. Kochin's office. Like I said earlier, I have no intention of retracting my testimony.
Good. Just to confirm, did you have a partner when you were on your investigation? No, I moved alone. In that case, you have no one to corroborate your alibi, is that correct? Are you calling her suspicious because she was in a room by herself? How pathetic. Wasn't when Agent Sheena tried to arrest Kay under the same rationale. How about when you accused Larry because he was the weapon's owner?
Grr. Not that it's unexpected for that useless lump to get into such a situation. Although, I suppose it's never a good idea to let mistakes go uncorrected.
Will make no excuse for what I did in that situation.
You should apologize right now for making Kay out to be the killer, pal!
Sorry. Sheena, apologize. Sorry.
It's really okay. I mean, I'm not under suspicion anymore. Right, Mr. Edgeworth?
Well, I never doubted you. Not for 1 second. The same goes for me. Believe in Sheena. Then let's put that to the test and see if she really is worthy of your trust.
This promises to be interesting. Screams. Okay. During the first bubble, during the second fire, I was searching for the Yatagarasu that appeared in Babal. Okay.
Hold it!
By second fire, you mean the one that consumed the 3rd floor of Babal, correct?
Yes, that was when the suspicious person was spotted in Babal. Then you were after the same person in the long coat that I was after.
There is no proof that the suspicious person was really the Yatagarasu, as no one was able to get a good look at the person's face. By the way, how was your team's investigation? In order to extinguish the fire, water was pumped into the 3rd floor via the windows, so the majority of the investigators conducted their searches on other floors. Maybe they did, but there was one person who was wandering around lost on the 3rd floor. When the fire was pretty much out, I moved to investigate the 3rd floor. You did that alone? Yes.
I heard a scream. I was in the next room. I was unable to catch it. Okay.
Hold it!
We're unable to catch even a glimpse despite being in the next room. Is that true? I really hate to repeat myself. Sorry for inconveniencing you. However, I simply wish to make sure that you are not misremembering something. We wouldn't want you to be accused of lying later on, would we? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Are you calling Sheena's testimony a lie? Agent Long, I'm talking with Agent Sheena right now. So I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't interrupt us with superfluous comments.
I can read. Aw, you know, I feel kind of bad for him.
Understand his pain at watching one of his subordinates being accused. However, I cannot turn my eyes from the truth.
I'm alright. As for you, I think you should be focusing your doubts on that girl rather than me.
Why is that?
Girl! Okay. I'm saving, and we're going to hand over the fireplace.
Objection!
Aha!
Being in the room next to Mr. Kochin's office is the problem with your testimony.
Knuckle back!
Mr. Prosecutor, I don't see what problem you're talking about at all. Agent Long, do you recall the secret we discovered about the Alabastrian office fireplace? Huh? Oh, you mean how it connects to the office with the room next door? What about it? Oh, Alabast isn't the only country with a secret connecting fireplaces. What? fireplace in Mr. Kochin's office holds the exact same secret. What? The Yatagarasu didn't escape through the doors to the room or the window. The escape route was through the revolving fireplace wall and into the next room over. Now do you see? The Yatagarasu had escaped into the next room. And the thief would have run straight into Agent Shina. Meaning that it's impossible for her to have missed the Yatagarasu.
Hiya! What is the meaning of this, Miles?
Well, would you care to explain, Agent Shina, how you managed to completely miss the fleeing Yatagarasu, or shall I? The claim that you were in the next room was a lie all along, wasn't it? The truth is, you were the one Kay saw in the coat. Pretending to be the Yatagarasu, and you were the one she chased after. As you tried to lose her, you ran into Mr. Kochin's office and headed for the fireplace. Then, you shed your coat in the next room, leaving it there to emerge as Agent Shina. After that, you came back around to place Kay under arrest. Does that sound about right? If not, then speak now or forever hold your peace.
How dare you make Kay look like the bad guy when you're the suspicious one, pal!
Shina?
No! Screams.
Laugh.
I remember this irritating laugh. No, bring Sheena back. I know. Ugh.
Out here breaking my heart. I'm getting chills down my spine.
It can't be. But it has to be.
Sheena, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. It was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh.
Funny, you say?
Yes, that you would accuse me of being the Yatagarasu. The prosecutors of this country really are also very strange. You think you could get away with this by simply laughing it off? You think I'm taking things too lightly? I think not. It's that prosecutor who is. Look, everything you said earlier is nothing more than mere speculation. The Yatagarasu fled through the fireplace? Do you have any proof to back up your claim? If you don't, then you haven't proven a thing regarding the Yatagarasu's escape route.
The tone of voice you're taking with me now has certainly changed.
That's because it's been a while since I've had this much fun. I think I'll let loose and we can have a real battle of wits.
For an agent of Interpol to show me the true power of her mind, it is a great honor.
Don't underestimate me. I'm not some foolish broad, you know.
I know, and that's why I won't hold anything back either as I answer your question.
My question?
Here's your proof that the revolving fireplace wall in Babal was used recently.
Is it just this again? No. I mean, we saw the ink stain move. Oh, this, okay. I'm sorry, but is this really your honest answer to my question?
Yes. According to Ambassador Polino's testimony, he said that he was burning some documents in the fireplace with Mr. Kochin.
Oh?
The ashes of what they burned were left in the fireplace, so they should have been there. However, when we went to investigate the room, the ashes weren't there.
Why is that a problem? Maybe someone cleaned them up.
Unfortunately for you, Ambassador Polino said that he forgot to. So the question remains, why were the ashes missing? The answer is simple. When the Yatagarasu went through the fireplace wall, the ashes were pushed into the next room by the wall as well. The movement of the ashes that were in Mr. Kochin's office is my proof. And just what is so funny?
Ashes proof? Are you even allowed to submit such flaky evidence in court? You still wish to fight us? Of course. Why wouldn't I?
In that case, let's hear your counter-argument.
My counter-argument, huh? This really is just like being in court.
Me, we're simply continuing from where we left off all those years ago.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Doesn't matter if we're at a crime scene or in court. Let's finish this here and now.
I suppose. I've had a lot of fun today, but I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Sheena's rebuttal. In my eyes, all you've proved is that the rotating fireplace wall was used. But you can't really call that proof that the Yatagarasu used the fireplace now, can you? So then, who was it that used the rotating wall? Show me your answer with real evidence. Remember, we've already finished our very thorough investigation. And we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Kochin's office. And there you have it. My counter-argument.
Very impressive. Seen through the fact that I have yet to gather that one piece of evidence. What is it, Kay? I haven't heard a peep out of you in quite a while now.
If you don't think you can handle it, feel free to leave the rest of it to us. But
Kay, pull yourself together. You are the true heir to the Yatagarasu name, are you not? Want to steal the truth, then you must never take your eyes off of it. This chase you're running to catch the truth. You must see it through to the very end.
Mr. Edgeworth, you're right. I will see this through to the end. So, you go get her for me, Mr. Edgeworth.
With pleasure.
Looks like the lack of evidence has left you wide open, doesn't it?
Sheena, please, show me you're someone I can trust.
Don't worry. This will be the deciding match. You'll see.
Really sorry, Agent Long, but I simply can't allow her to escape me again. Very well then, Agent Sheena. Shall we begin?
I'm ready whenever you are. Okay. Show me your answer with real evidence. Can I press this?
Hold it.
Possible that the Yatagarasu left fingerprints inside the fireplace.
Sorry, but I had the forensics team check that already. All they found were prints belonging to Ambassador Polino and Mr. Kochin.
Curses. Should have known better than to think the Yatagarasu would have been so careless. But there must be some sort of evidence that we still have yet to find.
I take it that you have no further objections? We found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Kochin's office.
Hold it.
Okay.
You really didn't find anything.
Yes, as I said, not one suspicious thing. Although, as you already know, we did find the Yatagarasu's key and the document detailing the smuggling operation. But we still haven't found the blade that belongs to the Babali's knife handle yet.
You see, my subordinates worked hard to investigate everything. So there was nothing else to find, alright?
Wow, Agent Long really sticks up for his people.
Lao Tzu says, all men are brothers, and friends become family. So you see, my people are my family, and their families are my family too.
That's a rather large family you have there.
Yes, but as we all know, there is always one black sheep in any family. And although it pains me, Agent Long, you will know the black sheep in your family.
So, do you actually have any proof that the Yatagarasu used the fireplace passageway?
No, I haven't found any yet.
Then what are we going to do?
There's no need to worry, because there's a loophole in this Interpol agent's argument we can exploit first. The one in charge of the Babali's investigation was not Agent Long, which means that with Agent Sheena in charge, it's possible that she may have tampered with the evidence. Bits of evidence that we found. There's one thing I do know, it's that someone tried to hide it from us.
Okay. I'm going to save here because I assume this is where we're putting things, but okay. Present. We found the unopened Babali's ink.
Objection.
Nope. Okay. I don't know. Is it the money that burned, maybe? For the wire? Suspicious thing. Okay, suspicious thing. We found it.
While you say that you and your agents have finished your thorough investigation, are you absolutely certain that you didn't overlook anything?
Well, aren't we full of ourselves, standing there insulting Interpol agents?
You better not be insinuating that my men are incompetent, Mr. Prosecutor. Never do that. However, it doesn't change the fact that they did overlook something. I'd like for you to take a look at this length of wire.
And what exactly is this supposed to mean?
Length of wire. So what about it? Tell you what, we found this in the Bubbly's embassy not long ago.
What?
We found it wound up inside the grandfather clock in Mr. Cochin's office.
You found that at the scene of Mr. Cochin's murder?
But this wire wasn't all we found. We found one other very important thing. There's more! In Mr. Cochin's office, there were signs that someone had burned counterfeit bills there.
What in the... Ay-ya!
That evidence was something you found through the girl's machine, right?
So what if it was? Ah, that's what I thought. But unfortunately for you, a recreation made by a machine is hardly concrete proof. Among the ashes you found in the room, did you happen to find any counterfeit bills?
No.
You see? So there was nothing in that office. Nothing you can call evidence, anyway.
I'm sorry, but I seem to have given you the wrong impression.
How so?
I don't recall saying that I was presenting evidence of any sort. Rather, I was pointing out that your investigation was incomplete. And that this throws doubt on the purity of your investigation into the Yatagarasu.
You still suspect me, I see. Alright then. I ask that you point out what part of my investigation is incomplete.
The other Interpol agents worked under the command of Agent Sheena. Is it not possible that the reason the person K was chasing chose the third floor was because that person knew there would be no other agents on that floor? Furthermore, we've come to see that Agent Sheena was only pretending to be investigating the Yatagarasu to the point of arresting K. In that case, there is one location that no one has yet to inspect. Your team's investigation was incomplete because they failed to inspect this location.
Yoink!
Take that!
The location, Agent Sheena, is of course the room you claim to have examined. I believe that the room next to Mr. Cochin's office warrants a thorough inspection.
Even if you do that, I doubt you'll find anything of use to you in there.
I will be the one to decide that. Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir! I'm on it! I'll be right back after I check out that room next to the office.
Not them waiting.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you really think that Miss Sheena's the Yatagarasu?
Yes, my logic is sound. I believe she is.
Then I'm not going to let her get away with ruining the name of the Yatagarasu. But can you prove she's the Yatagarasu and is the question?
If Detective Gumshoe could find what I'm hoping he will find, then I should be able to.
And just what are you hoping he'll find?
Let's just say this. I had Detective Gumshoe do a little experiment for me earlier.
An experiment? As if that detective has the brains for high science.
It wasn't that mentally taxing. I had him use the same escape route as the Yatagarasu.
And what did you find out by doing that?
First, that it's possible for a person to fit through the revolving wall door. Second, that by going through there, his coat was covered in ash and Bubbly's ink.
Who cares what his coat was covered in? It's not worth that much anyway.
Ah, but is it really worth so little? I believe that it's actually quite a meaningful result, the value of which I'm about to prove.
Mr. Edgeworth, I found some things you really need to see, sir!
Oh? So what are these things you found?
Some makeup, a coat, and a pair of shoes, sir. You found a coat? You hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? Maybe it's the one the person I was chasing was wearing.
Yes, the possibility does exist. Agent Sheena, were these pieces of evidence not in the room when you examined it?
Unfortunately for you, those aren't suspicious items of any sort. They all belong to me. They were getting in the way, so I stored them in that room. Aww. Thank you for bringing them to me. It saves me a trip. May I have them back now?
These items that the detective brought back are incredibly significant. I request that we be allowed to examine them.
They're my personal belongings, so you have no right to touch them without my permission.
I wish to examine them for the sake of the investigation. But if you wish to deny us access to them, Agent Long, let's hear your opinion on this. Okay, let them look at your stuff, Sheena.
Long!
Sheena, let's put it all out in the open. You're really innocent, then you have nothing to worry about, right?
I guess so. Alright, go ahead and examine whatever you'd like. After all, I have nothing to hide.
Good. Let's begin. Which of Agent Sheena's belongings are you going to so which of Agent Sheena's belongings are you going to examine, sir?
The coat.
Let's examine the coat.
Yes, sir!
It appears that you managed to stain your coat rather badly, Agent Sheena. Yatagarasu that Kei saw was wearing a coat. I'm beginning to wonder if this stain wasn't created when you went through the fireplace.
No, you have it wrong. That soot probably got on my coat when I was helping the police put out the fire.
What about this dark substance around the hem of your coat?
Oh, I didn't realize the hem was that dirty. I'm sure it's just some water mixed with soot from when I was helping with the fire. I don't think so. You think you could get away with such a transparent lie?
Yeah, don't lie to us, pal. This is the same pattern of dirt that got on my coat when I went through the fireplace.
Your words ring hollow in the absence of evidence, you know. So unless you can prove that the dirt on my coat is from the fireplace...
You can.
What? How?
A great job, Detective Gumshoe.
Huh? Me, sir?
What'd I do? This coat. This is exactly the piece of evidence I was searching for. I'd been hoping to find the coat that the person Kay saw was wearing. Thanks to you, we proved that going through the fireplace would sully your coat.
I don't quite get what you're saying, but I'm happy for the praise, sir.
All that remains is for us to show what the dark substance on the coat hem is.
Oh, and you think you can do that?
Of course I can. This is the dark substance that sullied the hem of this coat.
Ink. Bubbly's ink?
Yes, this is what'll prove that the coat went through the fireplace. According to Ambassador Polino, he burned some files in the fireplace this morning.
You told us about that already, so I don't really see the point in mentioning it again.
Point is that he spilled some ink onto the back wall of the fireplace at that time. The dark substance on this coat turns out to be Bubbly's ink. It would prove that you and this coat went through the revolving fireplace wall.
Ah!
Sorry to have clipped one of your wings, Yatagarasu, but we're not finished yet.
But you have no way of proving whether or not this is Bubbly's ink on the coat hem.
Oh, but I do, and I intend to show that it is ink in a few seconds.
How?
How, you ask? Well, since you don't seem to know, allow me to show you. This is how I will prove that the dark substance on the coat is Bubbly's ink.
Touch it, wear it, or burn it. Yes, I think I will wear the coat myself.
We can find out whether that is Bubbly's ink or not by lighting it on fire. That's how you're going to prove that it's Bubbly's ink. Yes, if you could please cut a section of the dark stained area for me, I'd appreciate it. Because I will show you, here and now, what the dark substance is. Sheena, sorry to do this, but I'm going to have to cut off a bit of your coat.
Go ahead. I wasn't planning to wear it anymore anyway.
Now then, if someone could loan me a lighter or something.
Oh, I've got some matches. I always carry them with me so I can light smoke bombs.
If I could please have one, Kay, we can get this experiment underway.
Are you not going to question the fact that she lights smoke bombs? The flame!
Same color as the flame's wit crystal oil produces, which means Bubbly's ink is a product of wit crystal oil. When lit, the ink produces a green flame. I believe the time has come to clip the Yatagarasu's other wing.
Miss Sheena, you're the fake Yatagarasu. The one who killed my father.
About time you came clean, Agent Sheena. Or should I say, Callisto you. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. You're not serious, are you? Do I look like the joking type to you?
Callisto you? I've never heard that name before in my life. That manner of speaking and that attitude. You haven't changed a bit in 7 years.
You're the defense attorney that killed Mr. Faraday and then tried to frame me for it.
Bye-bye, Yatagarasu.
Yatagarasu is crazy.
Oh, really? And you have proof? You insist that I'm this Callisto you woman, but you can't prove it. If you have no proof, then I'm afraid you won't be able to lay a single finger on me.
The raven is a very unique bird, one that flies by the darkness of night. However, the light of dawn has arrived, and it'll reveal your true ugly form to the world.
Ugly is crazy. Enough poetry. I want to see some evidence. Do you really have something that can prove that she's Callisto Yu?
I do. It's something that the second Yatagarasu has preserved for us these last 7 years.
Do me the honor, Mr. Edgeworth.
It will, Kay, but we have finally come to the end. We'll prove her to be Callisto Yu with this, and clip this Yatagarasu's wings for good.
This?
Take that!
This perfume. This will prove you to be Callisto Yu.
It will?
Kay has preserved it perfectly for us. Surely remember this bottle? This belonged to Miss Yu just before she disappeared 7 years ago. Naturally, this means that a few of her fingerprints are on here as well.
This is that bottle of perfume you spilled, which I've preserved ever since. I heard from my father, Bern Faraday, that if stored under the right conditions, a fingerprint can be preserved for decades. Which means that your fingerprints are still on here. Every last one.
It'd clear everything up if we were to compare the prints on this to your own. Now come, Agent Sheena. Will you submit yourself to a fingerprint test?
You know, that's a much better laugh for her. I like that. I can't laugh that long also. I don't have enough lung capacity for that. It looks like you've seen right through me yet again. And this is why we don't wear perfume. It'll get your fingerprints on the bottle and you'll be convicted of murder 7 years later. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine, Edgeworth.
Callisto Yu!
To be honest though, she should have locked in and pulled a Yanni Yogi. Honestly, yeah. Just burn off your fingerprints. It's that easy. So, you've shown your true face at last. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than that time 7 years ago.
Sheena, you're...
Long, I really enjoyed our days together. You're an insanely strong, nice, kind-hearted idiot of a man.
So you were a spy all along. A mole sent by the smuggling ring I've been chasing after. Someone who has been feeding them intel on Interpol all this time.
Very good. Maybe you're not as big of an idiot as I thought. Callisto Yu, the woman who killed my father 7 years ago. You're her, aren't you? The fake Yatagarasu. That's right. Callisto Yu. That's just one of my many names. But even that is just a facade. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the great thief Yatagarasu.
Callisto Yu, this time you won't escape. This is the end of the road for you. Now come along quietly.
You know, you're the one who's left the strongest impression on me. Hey, Faraday. And had you not used the Yatagarasu's gadgets, I might have never known who you were. But here you are, being a thorn in my side. Just like your father always was.
Kay, don't!
You! I'll never forgive you for what you did to my father! You really are just like him. Mr. Faraday, too, possessed such laughable honesty. No!
Kay!
Ah! You let Kay go right now, pal! You despicable! Let go of me, you filthy... Ah! You think I'm a fake, don't you? Well, unfortunately for you, I'm the real Yatagarasu. But that's impossible! My father was the one who created Little Thief. Hey, Edgeworth. The Yatagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know why that is?
Has 3 legs. There are 3 main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. No, it can't be!
Did you finally figure it out? Do you finally know the real identity of the Yatagarasu?
Real identity of the Yatagarasu is...
Bern Faraday, Callisto Yu, neither person.
The real identity of the Yatagarasu is neither Burn Faraday nor Callisto Yu. By the same token, they are also both the real Yatagarasu.
How very perceptive of you. No way!
A single person known as the Great Thief Yatagarasu never existed.
Mr. Edgeworth! No! I refuse to believe this!
The Yatagarasu is known to have 3 special skills. Skill number 1. The Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Lawyer would have the opportunity to learn the layout of client corporations. Skill number 2. The Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. A good prosecutor would be well versed in the ways of a criminal. Skill number 3. Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind. Ever. Detective Bad! It's only natural for the Yatagarasu to never leave evidence behind. As the lead detective on the case, it all away.
Uncle Bad! No!
You're the 3rd member of the Yatagarasu! You. Been looking for you for a long time. Long years. Finally got you.
Why, Mr. Bad? Long time no see. What happened to us? We used to be such a great team. If you were such a great team, then why did you kill my father 7 years ago? Why, indeed. It was nothing personal, really. He was just another person I had to kill. How could you say that? I grow weary of this, and it's about time for everything to come to an end. And this time, I won't miss.
Stop! You! Kay! It's over, Sheena.
Your leg! No!
Agent Long! You idiot. What were you thinking, jumping in front of my gun like that? What are you risking your life for?
No!
Sorry, Detective Bad, but no matter what sort of past she may have had, even if she is a spy, it doesn't change the fact that she is my subordinate. As long as she is, I can't allow any harm to come to her. Not even from you.
You really are an idiot. You know that?
That's fine with me. You should know by now that this is just how I am. Hey, sis.
Yes?
I want you to conduct a full-body search. Sheena might have another weapon on her.
Alright. Detective Gumshoe, your assistance, please.
Sir!
I'm cry.
Hey, I found something! What is this, sir? Looks like the blade of a knife, but it doesn't have a handle. This is a great find, Detective. Huh? It is, sir? Let's try pairing it up. Let's try pairing up the blade with this handle.
Take that!
I believe this blade actually belongs with the handle that was on the murder weapon. Hey, they fit together perfectly. This blade must have been taken from the crime scene when the knife handles were switched. I'm gonna go return this Bobbly's knife now. Alright, I trust that you'll make sure that it's returned to Ambassador Polino.
Bobbly's knife handle given to Detective Gumshoe.
I believe this makes it perfectly clear who did it, Callisto Yu. For the only time the handles could have been switched is just after Mr. Cochin's murder. Which means that you must be Mr. Cochin's killer. You killed Mr. Cochin with the Alabastrian knife.
Okay.
Switched the handles, then took the original blade of the Bubbly's knife with you. Later, you allowed yourself to be spotted by Kay near the open-air stage. You used the fireplace to lose her, then you went back to accuse her of the murder. That about sum it up.
Objection!
You craft an engaging tale, Edgeworth, but there are 2 problems with it.
Problems? In what respect?
What do you think my real reason was in allowing her to chase after me? It was also I could capture Kay Faraday. What? When I saw you using that device at Gatewaterland, I knew right away that you were Burn Faraday's daughter. I became curious, so I researched a little into your background. That's how I found out that you were on the trail of the Yatagarasu. So that's why you tried to pin Mr. Cochin's murder on me.
Yes. I knew that you would show up at this embassy tonight. So I thought to use you by pinning the murder on you. But pinning the murder on you wasn't my only goal.
You had another?
Yes. Once I had you under arrest, I had planned to search you and take back the device that rightfully belongs to me. The true Yatagarasu.
You were going to take Little Thief away from me?
7 years ago, it was thanks to that device that Faraday was able to infiltrate this place. But he stole more than he should have. I had a tough time recovering that precious key. The person who stole the Yatagarasu's key was Mr. Faraday. He had an incident 7 years ago. What was the catalyst behind it? In the eyes of the smuggling ring, the Yatagarasu was becoming a bit of a problem. It wasn't an especially pleasant assignment. Then why? Why did you become a member of this Yatagarasu? There is no why. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. From the beginning? What is that supposed to mean? The person I take orders from hasn't changed, even now to this day. Does this mean that the leader of the smuggling ring wasn't Mr. Cochin? Then the real ringleader is still out there pulling the strings. You done asking what you need to know? Because if so, we should probably get going. And you're going to tell me everything you did tonight. Do you understand, Sheena? I guess I should tell you, then, that I was the one who set the Bobbly's embassy on fire. Why did you do that? I suppose it was to destroy all evidence of the counterfeit bills. What the smuggling ring was trying to do. But then, why start 2 fires? Sorry, but I can't tell you anything about the ring. It's your job to complete your investigation, after all. I've had my fun, but now it's your turn to enjoy the ride.
Wait! Miss Sheena.
Yes?
When I fell to the floor earlier, these fell at my feet.
What about them?
They're such pretty hair sticks that I thought, well, that I should return them to you.
You can have them. They're of no use to me anymore. If you don't want them, you could just throw them away.
No, I want to keep them.
Suit yourself. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot, Edgeworth. About the second problem I had with your story. I didn't kill anyone tonight. What? I'm not saying that as a sore loser. Think of it as a hint, if you will. Mr. Prosecutor. Yes, Agent Long. Mark my words. I'm not done here, and I'll be back. It's got nothing to do with duty or anything, because this has become my personal case. I may have been shot, but I'll show you just how dangerous a wounded wolf can be. Anger appears to have negated the sensation of pain in his injured leg. Don't walk, Long! Is he limping? Oh my gosh, they made him limp. It's finally over, Kay.
I feel like I peered into her heart a little, you know? It's so cold and dark and incredibly lonely. The person who was giving her all these commands, the one who thought my father was a problem to be removed.
That person is the real ringleader behind the smuggling ring.
Mr. Edgeworth, I have a favor to ask. Can you hold on to these hair sticks for me? They're really pretty, just like the ones they were selling for the Gem and Ninja show. But until this case is over, I don't think I can look at them without being overcome.
Understand. I'll take good care of them for you. There's a bit of soil stuck on the ends of these sticks. Hair sticks with a candy stripe pattern on them. There's some dirt on the tips. Oh, I guess it's that time already, huh? So it's midnight, the dawn of another day. Hey, Pops, thanks a bunch. You've really done a lot for everyone all these years. Detective Bad, don't tell me today's the day. Yeah, it is. This, I can retire in peace. Down to the wire, and we almost didn't make it. We did it. We solved everything. That's just it. We haven't solved everything yet. The ringleader of the smuggling ring. You, the Yatagarasu we're chasing after. Legend of that Yatagarasu is now over. Mr. Edgeworth, fatal logic earlier. It was brilliant. I feel like I can leave it all in your hands. Counting on you.
Is it really true, Uncle Bad? Were you also a part of the Yatagarasu?
I said to you earlier, Kay. Sorry. Wanted nothing but a peaceful life for you.
Uncle Bad.
Hey, don't take it so seriously. It's all just one big joke, right?
Unfortunately, it isn't.
Oh, come on, sir. She's just yanking on my chain, isn't she, Mr. Edgeworth? Detective Bad. Wait, no. You are no longer a detective. Mr. Bad, I'd like to ask you about the Yatagarasu. Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, here. I should give these back to you.
KG8 incident.
These are pages from my KG8 case files that the Yatagarasu stole from my office. Huh? Wait, what? Mr. Edgeworth, I must apologize for last night.
No!
Yatagarasu stole into my room was you, was it? Wait, then that means... What? Tell me it's not true! That's too insane for me to believe, sir! It's true. If it's not something you want to hear. KG8 incident. Very emotionally trying case. Stood in that courtroom. Faraday is the prosecutor, and I is the lead detective. Faraday had evidence in his possession that would prove the defendant guilty. However, because it was stolen, the defendant found innocent. He was the elder sister of the victim in the case. The defendant was pronounced not guilty. She let out a great wail. That's when we realized there was a limit to what the law could do. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time. That's how we formed the Yatagarasu. Vowed to bring light to light any dirty dealings the companies had with the ring, including companies that dealt with Amano Group. Mr. Amano's conglomerate. Called ourselves the Yatagarasu and flexed our collective muscle. We exposed all sorts of shady dealings, a warning to the business world as a whole. By doing that, we were able to stop higher-ups from covering things up. Then, finally arrived at the moment when we found out the ringleader's true identity. Then that you literally stabbed us in the heart. Faraday died for it.
But why? Wasn't she the sister of the victim in the KG8 incident?
After Faraday's death, I looked into her past. That's when I found out. She was a phony. The victim of the KG8 incident, CCU. She never had a sister. What that means? Sheena wasn't the only fake name she used. Callisto U was also another pseudonym. At the very beginning, that woman was a spy sent by the smuggling ring.
She said it herself. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning.
Anyway, let's return to the real topic at hand. Sir Edgeworth, this trump card that we've stuck onto the page of this case file. Please use it wisely. Trump card. Photo that we stuck on there. Try peeling it off. Behind it slumbers a piece of evidence that Faraday hid away all those years ago. The mark of the Yatagarasu. Why? This is Directives card from the big boss. Take a look at the back. This was something Cochin had on him at the time of the KG8 incident 10 years ago. That blood from the victim of the incident, Miss CCU. But why is the card adorned with the mark of the Yatagarasu?
Gonna catch 'em all. Hi, Kimono, how are you?
Reason why we called ourselves the Yatagarasu. Because of the three-legged raven mark that the smuggling ring's boss used. Apparently, orders from the boss would come on these cards without fail. The person who received the order was supposed to burn it immediately after reading it. And apparently it burns a bright green flame when it's set ablaze. So you mean the cards were written in Bubbly's ink? The fact that the card that Cochin was sent made it into Faraday's hand at all. Nothing short of a miracle. Decided that whenever we stole anything, we'd send a card along with it to the police. So that's what those white cards are. A great thief would use that mark in Only those within the ring would know. Our message to the ringleader. We were only a few steps behind.
Evidence from the KG-8. Card containing orders from the boss of the smuggling ring to Cochin.
One more thing. Detective Gumshoe. I'm trusting this to you. The lollipop? What is this, sir? What I was talking about earlier. The KG-8 incident, Faraday had this in his possession. This important definitive piece of evidence. I thought it was stolen. How do you have it? The person who stole it from us 10 years ago. A man by the name of Ernest Amano. Sharing candy. Had it locked and hidden away for all this time. Forced him to tell us where it was, finally, after the other day's kidnapping case.
Evidence from KG-8. Faraday had obtained it once, but Ernest Amano had it stolen.
This video. Don't come any closer! I'm warning you! This is the same video as the one Mr. Portsman was trying to conceal from me. Yeah, it would seem that even he was caught up in the ring's web. Mono was preparing to take on the boss someday. The video was his insurance. That's where the prosecutor comes in. He was to retrieve the video. On top of that, he was apparently instructed to sneak into your office. Steal the trump card.
Having hot girl stomach problems today, but I got stuff done. Oh no, I hope your stomach problems go away. That is not fun. I'm doing pretty good. Got all my work done for today, so that means I get to spend the rest of the day drawing and stuff after stream.
Saw it for yourself, right? Card that told him to preserve the evidence. That card was not the calling card of the Yatagarasu. Rather a directives card from the ringleader to Mr. Portsman. Two pieces together make for a strong weapon for whoever holds them. The evidence Mr. Portsman thought to withhold from me. One that you stole from my office last night. Both pieces are illegal, and for me to use either one is... Whether you use them or not is up to you. They will be of help to you. Take on someone who's above the law. Is the boss one of those who cannot be brought to court that Mr. Faraday spoke of?
It's okay, Edgeworth. You don't have to use them in court. You can use them here in the investigation.
Detective Bad. There is no limit to the law, for it is the people who determine the limits to them. Still insist that even now? You really are something else. I'll leave the rest in your hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe. Handcuffs. It's time to lock up the last remaining member of the Yatagarasu.
No!
Pops! Don't ever lose your detective spirit.
Pops! Why is this happening?
This isn't justice. Like I always told you. Not get emotionally involved. Let's go.
Yes, sir!
Let Uncle Bad go free! I cry! Is really the end of a legend. Ah!
Ladder the videotapes test. I think we can go a little longer. It's only been an hour. However, I want to refill my water and go. BRB, guys. I return. Stick my head inside the refrigerator. It is hot. But, we've all.
Now we know who the Yatagarasu really was.
Thank you.
Yet, there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved.
Are you winning, son? I think so. So far. Like how the weapons crossed country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in.
Smuggling them in, huh? Need to open a new line of investigation on just this aspect alone. But before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more.
Unnecessary evidence has been removed, remaining evidence has been rearranged.
Hey, there's a VCR here, sir. Now we can see what's on that tape Detective Bad gave us. This piece of evidence from the KG-8 incident, hidden from sight for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir.
It's Manny! And he's got a knife!
This man, it's Manny Cochin.
And he's holding a knife in his hand! This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building.
Apartment building? How do you figure that?
Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KG-8 incident. And the crime scene was the victim's own apartment.
But this footage was shot at the entrance to the victim's own apartment building.
At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed.
However, no one could find it.
Yes, somehow someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernest Amano.
See how this would have been a definitive piece and why someone would want to hide it.
But it's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir.
Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portman to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader.
Where? Where?
Wait, what was that?
Huh?
That bit you played just now. Please show it to me again.
Hey, yo! The flags?
This car. It is something we cannot overlook.
Why is that, sir?
Look here, Detective Gumshoe.
Right here, buddy.
Take that!
This is the national flag of the Principality of Cadopia. And because it has the national flag on it, we know this is to be an official government car. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what was a government car doing here?
Respectfully, why the heck would you drive an official government car to drop someone off when you're about to commit murder? Sounds a little stupid to me.
Ah, Miss Von Karma and Mr. Edgeworth. So you were here all this time.
Ambassador Alba.
Very much for continuing the investigation, even at this time of night. If only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I'm truly sorry. This wasn't your fault, sir. This had nothing to do with how careful you were.
Idiot, Quirkus! You couldn't chase after a simple thief!
Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I'd like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. You do that.
Excuse me?
I heard you've apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down. We are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. Can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. They're scaring the visitors away, so I hope that you can understand how I feel. We must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues.
Shouldn't you at least give us until, like, I don't know, 10 a.m.? Surely people wouldn't start showing up until then, right?
Why don't we leave the rest to the Alabastian and Babalese police?
Ambassador, we're so close. Just a little more and...
Miss Von Karma, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. Without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation anyway, right?
Polino, lock in. That's true, however...
He said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be on Alabastian soil, in which case we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends?
Shifu, we found Mr. Edwards, sir. Shifu, this way.
He's back! Yo.
He's not limping. Is your leg okay?
Agent Long. Back on the scene rather quickly. If I laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor.
Agent Long, why have you returned?
Because I have to solve this case no matter what.
Well, I'm sorry to inform you. And don't take it the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally.
He's back!
However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, and so... Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. Quite capable.
At this rate, our investigation really will come to a close.
Out of the way, Gramps, exactly. Get out.
Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do.
Oh, I'm very glad you understand how I feel.
No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder. You...
No?
The...
Killer?
Do you really mean that, Agent Long? Wolves don't lie.
Then who is it?
Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Sheena.
But she said she... Oh.
Long Zi says the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think Damask the Second's killer? Who do you think was Damask the Second's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Franziska von Karma.
Excuse me? My queen? I was the killer? Hey, wait, but that's impossible. Yeah! Although, that whip is actually quite... Yow! Hold your tongue in that ludicrous remark you were about to make.
Agent Long, are you seriously accusing her of murder? Yeah, I am. Doesn't appear to be joking. Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech. He called you into his office, right?
Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything?
I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Alabasta and Ball, did you not?
Objection!
And where is your evidence that I am the killer?
I was just getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission?
With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I?
Good. Then let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
As if I would have any reason to flee! But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation.
Seems rather upset. Don't blame her. I expected that you'd accept no less. But we'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that.
Ah!
Hold it!
Agent Long, someone someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part, so that I may clean up my superior's mess. I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery.
Oh, in that case, I want to join too. I still haven't seen what it looks like in Alabast yet.
If you let Kay in, then you gotta let me in too, pal. I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble.
Hey, Gummy, let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay?
Okay, I'll take you up on that. Oh yeah, I'm fired up and raring to go. As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over. Sounds like this is going to get real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride. Very well.
Franzie's little cheer squad. I love the peanut gallery.
But I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance. I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go. Okay, now, let's go over the facts one more time. Manny Cochin's body was found over in the Secretariat's office in Babal. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabast's ornamental knives. And then, the body of Damask II's, Mr. Kashi No, was found here in the Alabastrian ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was the Primitux statue. That is actually Babal's, and that this is actually Babal's statue. This case, no matter how I look at it. Sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off.
Objection!
Agent Long, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying?
Of course I do, sis, and I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. So, while people were distracted by the Yatagarasu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Objection!
Even if all that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons?
Don't worry. I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that, too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily—
Hey now!
Oh, hey now.
Oh my gosh, he caught it! Look at that!
Look, sis, I thought I already told you I'm not messing around here.
Ah!
This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring, but Sheena certainly is tied to the smuggling ring. Right in saying that she's a member of the smuggling ring, however, the connection between this case and the ring would it not be deeper than what any of us can imagine?
Grr. Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already!
Francisca, you need to calm down. Because you only know the facts of the Alabastrian side of the case. I don't believe that you could see the case as a whole and therefore solve it.
What?
But don't worry, I'm taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence. That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that could top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well. Of course, and I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of Damask II.
You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Long. If you can't figure out how the murder of Damask II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation.
As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis, the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do. Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. Let's get started. Yes, let's.
Oh boy. Okay. Border-crossing weapons.
One of Alabast's knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Cochin, and the murder weapon in the killing of Damask II is Babal's Primitux statue. Somehow, these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. As long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisca will remain a suspect. You've got it, Mr. Prosecutor, so why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? Work through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss. Agent Long, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself. What are you talking about? Focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we've become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Lang Zi never said anything to that effect. You prosecutor! Who do you think you are, speaking about Lang Zi's proverbs like that? I don't need his proverbs, because my words are all you will need to see the truth.
That is some crazy confidence you have there, Edgeworth. Okay. The murder way. Somehow, yes.
Hold it!
Impenetrable. I should hardly think so.
Not so fast!
You've seen the top of the wall between the two countries, right? Who in the world could cross over that?
Yeah, not even I could climb over that thing with all that barbed wire.
The only way to enter the embassy is through the doors in the Theatrum Neutralis. So the only way for the knife and the Primitux statue to traverse the two countries is through those security camera-equipped, well-guarded doors.
I feel like this is wrong. Present. Can I present a profile? No, I can't. Okay. Can I prove that the Steel Samurai passed through? Because I'm pretty sure we saw him. This is the only thing I have, though. And then that, but like,
Objection!
Nope, okay. Cool. Maybe I have to press this first? Mayhaps?
Hold it!
Is Francisca really the only person to have traveled between the two countries? According to the guards at both doors, she's the only one to go back and forth. The sis there was in Alabas when the Yatagarasu showed. And then, just before you guys found Mr. Koten's body, she entered Babal. I think we can assume that's when she brought the knife into Babal.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the primitive statue? I haven't quite figured that out yet. However, the fact that the two weapons crossed the border proves that the killer must have also traveled across the country lines. Only things to cross the border are the primitive statue and the knife. I should hardly think that those are the only two items, Agent Long.
Okay. I'm pretty sure the Steel Samurai did, but I can't prove that to you with the evidence that I have. Fires broke out in Babal. Just as a weapon, handwriting, ladder.
Objection!
Ooh.
Knuckle back!
No. Only things cross over. I sure think those are the two. Okay, so I have to show him an item that passed through. And it's not this, and it's not this. Fire stick. Ah, I don't think it's the key. I guess this?
Objection!
But the statues were swapped, so it was 3 items. Screams. Oh. One of Alabas' knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Cochin. Correct. And the murder weapon in the killing of Damas II is Babal's primitive statue. Also correct. Somehow, these 2 objects were able to penetrate the 2 countries' impenetrable security. Correct. The only one who traversed the 2 countries just before and after the crimes was you. Okay, so maybe it's this. Somehow these 2 objects were able to penetrate the 2 countries. But I don't know. I don't know. Not on the open air stage. It's wet. Cool. Auto refill. Samurai dogs.
Objection!
Screams. Okay, I'm just gonna press everything. We're gonna see where that takes us. Press.
Hold it!
Heard that this knife crossed over country lines. Good, but that's not the only thing that did. We mustn't forget about the other weapon. The knife wasn't the only one.
Okay.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the primitive statue was also brought over by Francisca? Like I told you before, that's the only way it makes sense.
Hold it!
And how exactly did she bring it over? I haven't figured that out yet. That's a rather weak statement considering how sure you are. Maybe, but there's one thing I do know for sure.
And we press that. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. No! Incorrect. Let me present the Steel Samurai.
Screams.
Is it this?
Maybe it's this.
Objection!
What? Alright. Google. Turnabout of Blade. Gosh. I've tried so many things. What do you mean? Okay. Scrolling. Okay. Present either primitive statue at the third statement. But I did. Did I? Oh, did I put it on the fourth one? Okay, sure.
Objection!
Okay then.
Agent Long, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh, Damas II was killed with Babal's primitive statue, yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabast's primitive statue go? To Babal! Precisely, and if the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies.
That's what I said!
Okay. I guess so. But you know what? It doesn't matter the number of items, only that the sis is the only one who could have done it. Because the only person who went back and forth between Alabast and Babal is her. That really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of the wall.
Objection!
That really so, Agent Long? What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guard said, along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily.
Objection!
But suppose there was some other way other than through the theater doors. What other way? Another entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I point it out, it would open up a whole new possibility. Though I hesitate to bring this out. As long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility. Looks like you've got some clever idea in mind. I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence. Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that'll show me this other route. This piece of evidence will show us another way to move between the two countries.
Probably this.
Take that!
He goes swoosh. Agent Long, I'm sure you're familiar with this unforgettable photo. That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly. No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well. And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. I wouldn't dream of claiming that. I won't allow you to take back what you've said either. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you'd better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor. Ugh! But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait. Not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation. Sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry trailed shadow is...
Statue?
Take that!
Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object, the primitive statue replica. You can't be serious. The Yatagarasu, or rather Callisto Yu, dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air. Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit of your explanation. I know I did. She launched it through the air. And how exactly did she do that? He's literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Reminds me, didn't he say this earlier? Hey sis, I remember just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech. He called you into his office, right? Just before the murder, Francisca was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then there may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Long, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh, what are you up to now, pretty boy? Earlier, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her. For that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer. Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth?
How dare you? As I've said numerous times, there is absolutely no proof that I'm the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too.
I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time, which is why I would like to hear about it from you. Francisca, I feel that I still don't have enough information, which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case.
Alright, so what would you like me to talk about?
I'd like you to please testify to your movements up until you came into this room. Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time,
I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl no!
As you wish.
Movements in Alabast. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the Steel Samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
Francisca, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, of course.
See, for now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Francisca about her testimony in more detail.
I understand. Press.
Hold it!
At this time, Damas II's body had yet to be found in this room. Is that correct?
That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence.
A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying?
Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you.
Seriously?
Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants.
Ah, I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office. Right then, add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details. Ambassador Alba was in the room at the time, was he?
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill?
She saw him. What do you mean by that?
The entrance to this room is on this side, however the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you enter the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Is that not correct?
I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with the watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right?
Suppose.
After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know.
Yes. The plants in this room, they are all like my children.
The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully, too. All 4 of them are in full bloom. 4? A 4?
Miss Von Karma, what did you say just now?
I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand?
What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony.
Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box. Actually...
Objection!
Francisca, For some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence.
It does appear that way.
I knew it. I knew we can trust your word, sis.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this?
Yes, sir. If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir.
Eek! All I've done is state what I saw. I have not made a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles?
At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine the flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth. I understand.
Hey?
Hole. This patch of soil looks as though it has something removed from it. What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why'd you clam up all of a sudden? Still here, waiting for an explanation, you know. Did you know, Agent Long, flowers are best appreciated in silence. Looks like two things were pulled out of this flower box. The name of these flowers, I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well and are well supported by these plant supports. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, there's only two here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you.
Ugh, Miles Edgeworth. Hurry up and shut this man up for me already.
I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? No evidence? I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. Oh, you do, don't you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight. But I highly doubt it'll last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Long, but we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth that the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence.
Dirty hair stick.
Take that!
Sheena, who was supposedly in Babal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it could be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers. And so what? Is this really all that important to the case? Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight.
Ay-ya!
Think about it logically, Agent Long. These sticks were originally in Alabast, but somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife in the statue. Ugh! Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babal. How did these support sticks find their way to Babal and why? Must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Ha! So that's why. Agent Long, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape. It's just another stick, isn't it? And so it is. But the shape of the support sticks is what is important. For when they are used with something in this room, that is when it all comes into focus. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks is...
Yoink.
That's a crossbow. Wait, you're not really suggesting... And these hair sticks, or rather plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows.
Ay-ya!
Done it. I found the common thread that connects the two offices. This thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks with arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all of these things together. Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. Do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all.
True. Border Crossing Part 2.
So Babal's statue was draped in the Yatagarasu's clothes and then shot over here? Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied to them. I don't think I need to tell you that the primitive statues didn't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you? The primitive statues didn't sprout wings. Of course they didn't. Glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact. It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation. What? You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The primitive statues flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time, and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. Okay.
Wouldn't go far, this is true.
Hold it!
But we are in agreement that an arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct?
But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing.
No, that's not necessarily true.
What?
What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions, it's the launching of my conclusions. What the shooter wanted to launch with a crossbow was not the statues themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues.
If it wasn't a statue, whoa, then what did the crossbow launch? Wire, mayhaps? Present wire.
Objection!
Finally, we've reached this point in our discussion, where I present to you that which was carried by the arrow from the crossbow. By the arrow from the crossbow, I can talk.
I get it now, Mr. Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you're trying to say.
You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Cochin's office.
All the way from the 5th floor of the Alabastian Embassy, down to the 3rd floor of the Babalese Embassy. If what you're claiming is really what happened, I can see how Alabast's primitive statue could be moved. Gravity could be used to move the statue down the wire from the 5th floor to the 3rd floor. But then, what about Babal's primitive statue? The dark shadow in this photo was clearly flying away from Babal, going in the opposite way of gravity from the 3rd floor of the Babalese Embassy up to the 5th floor of the Alabastian Embassy. How do you explain that?
I think I finally see how the gears behind this whole trick works. Agent Long, the motion used behind this trick. I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head.
Motion? What motion?
This is the motion that was employed to smuggle Babal's primitive statue.
Rotary, swinging, or bungee? Rotary?
I believe it was done via rotary motion. If the two statues were transported simultaneously...
Simultaneously? Get real. The statues would collide somewhere along the way.
Did I ever say that there was only one line of wire between the two offices?
Exactly.
If you shot an arrow with the two ends of a wire tied to it, a circular belt can be formed.
Lao Tzu says, don't object and call a success what is beyond reasonability. Taking into account the tension differences between the two wires, the top one would sag too much to the point where the statues would collide anyway.
Agent Long, as you know, the primitive statue is a one-of-a-kind national treasure. The fact that Babal's statue is a hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible.
Lao Tzu says,
Ow! Dog. Here's what I believe happened. Miss Yu and her mystery co-conspirator set themselves up in two different rooms. The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting the two ends of the wire down on one arrow. Then the two of them covered the statues and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down to Babal, where it was to be disposed of. And to do that, Miss Yu hid it inside the grandfather clock, QED.
This proves it, right, Agent Long? That I am not the killer.
Not yet, sis. I still haven't had my dessert yet. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? Proof is in the pudding, as it were. Pudding is a nice dessert. So, do you think you can do it? Can you prove that what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain someone back home with me as a souvenir. I agree that as long as there's no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, What I have laid out is no mere hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence. More. This should be interesting. You think you have a piece of evidence that'll turn your hypothesis into fact? Well then, let's see it, Mr. Prosecutor. Thing that made it possible to create a circular belt out of a length of wire. I believe that it is right here in this very room. Now then, I believe this is what made the circular belt transportation method possible.
Ceiling fan?
Take that!
Looks like you dropped another bomb on us again.
The last piece to this trick are 2 pulleys.
Precisely. The ceiling fans double as pulleys in this case. Thanks to the fact that there is one installed in each of the offices. The ceiling fans made for the perfect pulley set for the wire to run on. This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypassed the impenetrable security. You really are something else, Mr. Prosecutor. I bet you figured it out already, haven't you? You know who the big hotshot that set up this real-life stage show is, don't you? The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show. Needs to be someone who had foreknowledge of the existence of a ceiling fan in both of the Alabastian and Bubbly's offices, and that the passion flower support sticks could be used as arrows. The real mastermind behind this case. Well, don't you dare make this wolf wait for his food!
Why are you so hesitant, Miles Edgeworth? If you can't say who it is, why don't you present something like you always do?
A single point of the finger here, and this case will explode into an international incident. However, it is already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears that I have no choice now, but to rush in. There is a piece of evidence that will point us to who the mysterious mastermind is.
Question mark? Let me save! Or is it just the flowers? Ah! I'm going to assume it's the flowers, since they're like, oh, international incident.
Take that!
This smuggling could not have been possible without the use of the crossbow. Furthermore,
Oh my goodness.
the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked as it were, from the flower box in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers had the time to grow so big. And Miss Von Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited the room today. On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both offices had ceiling fans tells us that the person had a very detailed information on the embassy's layout. So, as you may have already guessed, the person I am accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care. Thus, it can only be you, Quercus Alba.
Are you out of your mind, Miles Edgeworth?
Certain of what I'm saying, and I am sure that he is the culprit. Tell me, Mr. Prosecutor, what was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all the stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that? I understand your need to doubt me. However, there is one thing that stands out to me as very odd. Just one thing, huh? One singular end result Ambassador Alba sought to obtain. If we were to examine the focus of this complex trick, I believe we will finally find the answer to everything. Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence.
Murder weapon?
Take that!
I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation been the reverse. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Primdex statue for the fake, I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action. And who better to ask for that reason than King Primdex himself? See, Ambassador, we'll be examining that statue now, with or without your permission. These are Mr. Cochin's fingerprints. The fact that they are on here suggests that this statue once belonged to Babal.
So it was smuggled from Babal to Alabaster, huh?
Why was there a need for them to smuggle it in?
That is what we are trying to figure out.
shield, huh? There doesn't seem to be anything unusual about it.
I bet it's supposed to mean that this guy's protecting something.
Don't think it's supposed to have that deep of a meaning behind it.
In that case, what are we wasting time with this for? Let's look at some other areas. Okay. This guy kind of looks like the Steel Samurai, don't you think? Maybe it's because they look alike that he was picked to be the Goodwill Ambassador.
Suppose that's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of the neck. It looks like a gap.
Hey, you're right! Maybe it's meant to be some kind of secret.
Perhaps it's possible to open the statue from this gap in its construction.
What? Hurry up and open it, Miles.
Right, here goes.
What is this?
Is it fake money?
Wow, it really did open up. Hey, what's this thing that fell out?
I believe a more thorough examination of it is required. What in the... Is this...
Hey, is this what I think it is? It's a plate for making counterfeit bills.
Somehow, it appears that we have at long last arrived at the exit to this complex labyrinth. We finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates, and the reason why the replica was smuggled into Alabas to begin with.
This was found from within the fake primitive statue Alba smuggled into his country. Yippee!
The primitive statue can only be handled by the ambassador or the secretariat. The replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide contraband. After receiving the statue containing the counterfeit plate from Sheena, the ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into Damask II. Surprised by the thief, the ambassador raised the replica statue at Damask II and... Bruh. Then, in order to frame the Steel Samurai of the murder, he covered the samurai sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba, you're the leader of the smuggling ring. My country is a mess, and it's all because of you.
You're the one who killed Damask II?
Answer us.
I never thought
would figure things out to this level. However, there is one point I disagree with you on. The head of the smuggling ring was Mr. Cochin. Quit screwing around. I have no sympathy for someone who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man. There's one thing I'm sure of, it's that you're the real ringleader, Quercus Alba. It's not good to speak with such subjectivity, you know, Agent Long. Subjectivity? My conclusion is anything but, and it's the result of logic and investigation. Logic and investigation. 3 seconds ago, you were ready to arrest Miss Von Karma. Don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you? It looks like you still don't get why I came back. Excuse me. You see, the reason I came back is so that I could sink my fangs into your wrinkly old neck. From the very beginning, my real target has been you.
What? Agent Long, I demand an explanation.
Sorry, sis. I didn't mean to put you through all that. I knew you were innocent from the very beginning.
You did?
I knew that this whole incident had been meticulously planned and prepared for. So naturally, the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seemed the most suspicious.
Look at how smart he is.
But without the ambassador's permission, we couldn't get in to take another look around. Ah, so that's why you put on this big show to accuse Francisca of the murder. Using Francisca as the bait, you were able to gain us entry and investigative rights. Yeah, if I hadn't done that, I doubt the ambassador would have given the okay to poke around.
So that's what all this was about. Very well, I'll forgive you. But in exchange for using me as bait, you will take some responsibility and help us find the truth.
Agent Long, for giving me such a great opening. I thank you. You know, I just knew, Mr. Prosecutor. Somehow, if we were able to find some proof by investigating this room, that you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic. The evidence detectives collect combined with the logic of a prosecutor. That's just as it should be in a prosecutor-detective team, right? I don't know about all that. But one thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man get what's coming to him. Oh, you're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you? Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all the guilt onto the sis. But unfortunately for you, you misjudged me.
Agent Long, I wish for you to stop trying to intimidate me. What we need right now is evidence and proof. I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring.
Objection!
Don't be such a sore loser! If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crimes with dignity. Dignity? That is nothing more than a fool's insincere display of strength. Really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes. I would like to first see some of this thing you call evidence. Grr! I tell you, I knew nothing, really. I didn't even know that a counterfeit plate was hidden inside that statue.
Objection!
You swapped a real statue that vested in your country an authority to rule for a fake. It doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything.
It doesn't make sense. Where doesn't it make sense? Can you prove that it doesn't make sense? Urgh. He's really got us. He's turned the entire situation around against us.
The proof that Interpol has been after, which points to this man as the ringleader. If we can somehow find that proof now, then we can see to it that justice is finally served. Is there nothing I can use to break this case wide open? Trump card and the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence from a case that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret. The tape was stolen by Detective Bad from the police. They're both illegal evidence. No matter what, a prosecutor of the law can't be allowed to use such pieces of evidence. It's to say, Von Karmas are commanded to achieve nothing but victory, by any means necessary. Only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. He thought, at the time. Follow your mentor! No longer follow the path of Manfred von Karma. I won't follow the path of the Yatagarasu. This leaves me with what? What creed will I believe in? I want to pursue the truth, and I will sully my hands in illegality. I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law, and what is justice? And which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? That choice is one I must make by my own hand here and now. I'm scared.
I think we use it. We were given evidence for a reason.
There's no limit to the law. Any limit that exists was set there by man.
Justice is Apollo, very true.
When a person goes beyond that limit, then the law, too, crosses into new territory. For what reason were laws invented? The answer to that is what I must now show. Ambassador Alba, I wonder if you might recognize this.
Oh. I wonder what that card is. I've never seen that before in my life.
It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instructions to his subordinates.
Oh, is that what that is?
This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KG-8 incident 10 years ago. A man by the name of Mr. Manny Cochin.
Oh. So why do you have such a card in your possession?
Because it was hand-delivered to me by a certain great thief, the Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu gave that to you? Don't talk nonsense. Let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that the card contains directions from the ringleader?
Have you know that the card is not the only thing I was given?
What?
This contains security footage that was shot just before the start of the KG-8 incident.
The KG-8 incident?
The card and the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate.
Oh, very interesting. Must admit I am very curious now. Very curious indeed in these case-deciding pieces of evidence that you've presented.
The prey the Yatagarasu has been chasing all this time now stands before me. Can't allow this man who has had free reign for 10 long years to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring to fruition the valiant spirit that was given to me. Oh my goodness.
I think we're gonna stop here for today. This is taking longer than I thought. We will continue that next week. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you next time.
Bye-bye!